Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to welcome you to our regular commission meeting. It is April the 10th, and it's 7 o'clock p.m. Call the roll, please.
Mayor James.
Here.
Vice Mayor Harris. Yes. Commissioner Brandimart.
Here.
Commissioner Grace.
Yes.
Could you please bow your heads for a moment of silence? Thank you, and can you please stand for the pledge?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hope you all are staying dry on tonight. Presentations and special event approvals. The Art and Seafood Festival. Do we have any issues?
There are no issues, Mayor.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Citizens' comments.
No.
Do you want to speak? There is a request to address at the back on the outside.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just here again. I'm just once again to push for a historical site for Northwest Dania Beach and Liberia to preserve the history of these two communities. I've gotten a lot of support from people in these communities about it, and I'm actually putting together a canvassing to bring to the city of Dania Beach as well as the city of Hollywood so that, you know, they can see that there is actually backing for this. I think it could definitely be helpful. Once again, the city of West Park, Cynthia has a historical site. She turned her father's shotgun home into a Carver Ranches Museum of History. Hallandale has a little bit of their history shown at Foster Park in the back left wall. In Fort Lauderdale, they have the Old Dillard Museum. In Pompano, they have Miss Blanche Ely. Her house is a historical site as well as Esther Roll from Good Times. Her home is a historical site as well. And being what Coconut Grove is to Miami for the Bahamians and the African Americans, I definitely think having something like this is very imperative, and it could definitely help the community to know their history, as well as even for tourism being one of the biggest drawing points for Broward County. Broward County's main economic boost usually comes from tourism. I think something like that can definitely draw people to come to these areas so that they could get a learn of history. I always say 3 things you cannot say no to is children, elders, and history. And I would just like to get everyone's feedback on what I'm speaking about.
Well, I know that currently we would have to have the properties, and currently the properties that we have, they're going to belong to the CRA, so I think that's going to be your avenue, especially in that area, to see if it's something that maybe you all could work out.
Okay. Yeah, definitely working on that.
Public safety reports, Chief.
Is it working? It's working?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor,
Good evening.
Commissioners.
Welcome back.
Just to discuss a few recent cases. One of our detectives arrested the sales director at the Sheridan Ocean Club. A wallet was turned into the lost and found, and she took it upon herself to use the contents of that wallet to go shopping. We had everything on video. So she was arrested. We also arrested a suspect in a theft of power tools case from a business off of Anglers Avenue. The suspect was charged with grand theft, dealing in stolen property, and fraud, and all the items were returned to the business. Another case involved credit card PIN numbers to override credit card declines and rent rooms to other people. Resulted in thousands of dollars worth of losses to the hotel. The crime trends on the east side, we still have the vehicle burglaries. Most of them have been unlocked doors. And on the west side, it's the opposite. They're smash and grabs. We had 2 auto burglaries at the nail salon on Griffin Road out west at the same times on consecutive days. So we were able to narrow it down and cover those areas now on those days. We're having 2 upcoming Get to Know BSO events. There will be one on Wednesday, April 18th at 6 p.m. at 713 Northwest 7th Ave, and one on Thursday, May 17th at 6 p.m. at 902 Nature's Cove Road. We had a decent turnout at our Shredathon and Operation Medicine Cabinet, and so far we've raised $1,387 for the Special Olympics. Any questions?
Commissioner Grace?
I'm puzzled as to how the BSO substation works. Simply because residents have come there and the door is locked. There are no avenues of them having a phone number to try and contact someone when they have a problem. And I thought that the BSO substation was a link to the community so that we will have someone stationed there. And if we're not having someone stationed there and the doors are open with the avenues of being able to talk to a police person.
The week, if somebody's not there at the time, which is could be after 5, there's usually somebody there, at least the supervisor. When calls for service get to a certain point, even the sergeants will go out and answer calls. There are call boxes there where you can reach downtown dispatch, and a deputy will be right there.
It's not serving its purpose. We're probably going to have to talk about that with the city manager before we really talk about the upcoming budget, so that we will have that mended, like you said, 24, and make sure that there is accessibility to someone being at that substation. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Savino?
Yes, thank you. Chief, I've noticed quite a bit lately that you're responding to the Motel 6 on Dania Beach Boulevard. I thought we had some kind of an ordinance, or that we had a nuisance create to diminish that hotel to something that would be a little bit better for us in our city. Our image is getting shown by you constantly being over there. I mean, you're there a lot, and I just wanted to know if we can look into something like that to find out if we can apply any of that towards that.
Absolutely. I can print out the calls for service that we've received there over the last 2 years, and that'll show all the Part 1 crimes and all our responses.
Okay. Tom, can you advise us on that?
Yes, and again, this statute is very restricted to its use. It allows for, if within a period of 6 months prior to seeking to use the board to get an order, if there have been 2 acts of prostitution or 2 acts of drug sales, I think we'll probably qualify for these things,
They will.
or 2 acts of stolen property, within the 6 months, it can be brought to the board. I'm not sure we have the board impaneled at this point. I thought we put it on hold. It could easily be brought back.
Okay. I think it's something warranted because, I mean, we're constantly down there, and it just doesn't look good for the city of Dania Beach to have BSO at that hotel more than anything else in our city. That's all
Okay,
for me.
that's it. All right, that's it. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners, City Staff. Sean Brown with Broward Sheriff's Office Fire Rescue. I just have one item of interest to bring to your attention this evening. And if you recall back before Hurricane Irma, there was American Red Cross had a Sound the Alarm initiative for reaching a 1 million number of smoke detector installations. That was put on hold because of Irma and the widespread devastation that it did. So it's back. The initiative is back. The date for Broward Sheriff's Office, in conjunction with all of the districts that we serve, is to help with the installation process, as well as information on those who are in need of smoke detectors. So, excuse me, I apologize. I'm not feeling too well this evening, but I have some flyers that Lieutenant Suarez will provide for City Hall and at the fire stations. And if there's interest in volunteers or if there's interest in signing up, they can also contact the administrative assistant with the Fire Prevention Bureau here in Dania Beach, Lisa Muggio. And her number at that office is area code 954-342-4262. Again, that's 954-342-4262. 4262. They can also email her, Lisa_Muggio, that's Muggeo, at sheriff.org. So again, we're looking for volunteers, and we're looking for those who are in need of the detective installations. The event is April 28th from 10 a.m. till noon.
Civic associations, Dania Beach Women's Club, senior citizens. So if you would do me a favor and give it to the appropriate person, the presidents of each one of these clubs. And I know that we will have some volunteers, especially for the seniors, to come out and do that. Last time we had something like this in the city, basically the fire department came and put them up. So we will be able to reach out to some of the churches and organizations to do that. I think
Yes, we will. I'll have Lieutenant Suarez reach out to all those associations and to the churches in the area.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any questions for me?
The other thing, are you working with the Dania Beach Chamber for our Hurricane Expo that's coming up in June?
I personally have not been made aware of that yet. I believe Lieutenant Suarez may be in contact with regarding that event. I'll find out from him, and I'll have him either get back with you or I'll get back with you.
Continue the rest of the meeting. I just wanted to say items 9.4 and 9.5 will be continued, correct?
What items?
Items 9.4 and 9.5 regarding the Dania Oaks. They will be continued, although this is a public hearing and you are free to speak on this item. I just wanted to let you know this item will not be voted on tonight.
9.3 as well, I believe.
9.3 as well.
So all of those are, I think 9.3 goes to April 24th, Mark Lefebvre. Do you want me to read these now and we'll have, just let people?
No, I mean, the agenda is pretty short, but I just wanted to let them know if anybody wanted to go home, they could, because it's 9.3, 9.4, and 9.5. Well, 9.3 is
9.3 is for the DDRM Sheridan Square. That's going to be continued to April 24.
Oh, those are two
and the BC
separate
Dania
items.
Oaks.
Okay.
Those are going to be continued to May 8th commission meeting. Again,
You consent agenda. Do we have any polls?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Bids and requests for proposals.
8.1, I really can't read it until you have selected a vendor for the 10-year master plan. So I believe the city manager has written to you about what has happened with the requests for proposals. There were 2 applicants. I believe they're here. If you are willing to hear presentations from both of them, I think that's the plan and the intent. If the commission's willing to do that, you would proceed to do that at this point, if you wish.
Mayor, we had, when we put out the RFP, we had no way of knowing how many vendors would apply. We only got 2, and they're both eminently qualified. It was reviewed by staff. They're both very well qualified, and I'm recommending that you prepare to do presentations tonight. Just take about 10 minutes each.
Commissioner Brandon-Marty?
He answered my question. If both of them can give a presentation for about 10 minutes, I would entertain that. Thank you.
Commissioner Grace?
Yeah, I'm lost for cause, I guess, because sometimes I don't understand, or sometimes I miss the mark as to what we're supposed to be doing, and it was not one of those things that I really was comfortable with. I asked for us to do something that I thought would be very positive and put people in positions that have served us in a capacity that we're very happy with. I am very happy with the 2 people that I know have worked very good together. I was with both of them on the Easter egg roll at Frost. Do it basically the same as we did when Louise left her position, that we were going to escalate the next person in line, but it's your call, and we'll see where we go from here. I'm just not happy with the process. I just want you to know it.
This is over.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's a different thing.
I know, but
It's a master plan.
Okay.
I know what.
As far as the scoring, I would like to see the presentations as well, as far, because when you look at the scoring on the RFPs, I went through
Yes.
page by page because it was very important to me.
Yes.
I did not understand why the scoring was what it was. And so I am going to ask that both give a presentation
Yes,
as
let's
well.
do it.
And you want to explain?
Just to clarify for the two applicants.
We're here, let's do it.
They're under the Florida Sunshine Law. Either typically you can one usually absence
I
to
think
leave the room. So
The fair way to do it is have, as we do one, have the other one go outside. And then,
but they would have to agree to that. We can't
Yes.
ask them to do that. They have-
Understood.
If that's the case, who wishes to go first, please?
Okay.
You want to do rock, paper, scissors here? What do we do?
Who's the closest to
Well,
us?
I guess we'll do
don't know.
Vermello since you're alphabetically in ahead.
That's a good
Okay,
way.
there you go.
Thank you
It's
very
easy.
much. Thanks.
Hey,
Good point.
how you do?
Good one.
Hi.
He's right there for you. Yes. You can't hear? We're getting
That has to be a first if you can't hear me.
Is it loud enough?
Yeah?
if we can limit these to 10 minutes,
Yeah, we are.
thank you.
He said-
No, I know, but I wanted to make sure.
I agree. You got the timer?
Don't you make me put it up there. I don't want to be rude.
Doesn't,
What do you think you got it for?
This is the worst in the house, but they should know that, right?
I know.
Time's up. Next person. I have a lot of humor.
10 minutes started from when you came to the mic. Hello.
Good evening, Madam
Good
Mayor,
evening.
Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Alfredo Sanchez, partner with Vermelho Hamilton Partners. Here tonight I have Randy Hollingworth, partner and Director of Landscape Planning and Architecture, and Joshua Rack, another planner.
Just a brief overview of Vermelho Hamil. We're a consulting firm with offices in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, New York, and Europe. And we offer quite a wide range of professional services in-house, from landscape architecture, planning, architecture, interior design. And very importantly for this, we actually have our own public involvement group in the company. It's a separate part of the company that we like to operate from. The company is presently working virtually around the world on projects. We have projects throughout the United States and throughout South Florida. I'm going to show you some of the South Florida projects tonight, which I think are most relevant, but I think this experience that we have certainly brings a perspective to projects that you may not get with someone who hasn't worked in these other communities around the world. The team that we've assembled for this project is basically, as Alfredo introduced myself, as the project manager. Thank you. Maybe easier to read.
We were struggling.
Recovering, and we'll be back at work soon. Josh is here as a senior planner, and Terry Garcia, who is in charge of our public involvement group. She's the director. She also could not make it. These are all of the B&A people who will be working on the project, all in-house part of our firm. We also have 3 sub-consultants, Ballard King, who does a really great job at looking at parks and analyzing them. We've worked on many projects with them, and they're really great to work with. ETC Institute is a group that does public surveys and are really good at that type of work that I think is an important part of this project. And also we have Keith Emery with CMS, who does cost estimating. We find that's really important, that in the end we know what all of this is going to cost the city over the 10-year period. The philosophy that we have on all of our projects, including citywide park planning, is that we look at the entire scope of the city and understand all aspects: environmental, urban context, master plan, and understanding how development's occurring in the city, the impact that public open space will have on communities, and the positive contribution that makes to the community. Another part of that is this whole concept of park planning, park design. And creating successful places for people is really one of the most important things that we do. And I'll tell you, of all the projects we do, condominiums, private development, commercial, going to a park after it's built and seeing people use the park is probably the most rewarding experience I have as a designer. Because that really is, you see people using what you've done, and they're really enjoying the different components of the park. Project Understanding, clearly we are looking at a citywide parks plan for all of your parks. You have emphasized or asked to look at the programming for a community center for Frost Park, so that's also in this. But we'll be looking at all of your parks citywide and understanding through a long process how those will be developed in the future, potential new parks. Have a process which we've applied here for this project. It's a very simplified version of what we'll go through, but we start meeting with the city, kickoff meeting, we sit down, we collect data, we'll conduct community surveys to get input from the community, working with the city staff to understand the community profile. We will do a summary of issues and opportunities for the citywide parks plans, and then meet with the community, and we call it a public vision workshop, because this is where the community gets to come and tell us what they see as the future of the park system for them, and what is important for them in the development of those parks. We'll develop a preliminary master plan. That also will go to the community, because once you get a response from the community, we like to go back to the community and tell them what the response of what they've told us is, so they understand that they've had an input and they've had an impact on the development of this plan. We'll develop a final master plan with commission presentation so that you have input. You can tell us what you think. We also probably will meet one-on-one. A final plan refinement that will come from input from the commission and input from the public, and then a final master plan document preparation with a presentation to the commission and the public. And that's a very brief summary, because in your RFP, you've detailed all of this in much more detail, the analysis, what you expect to see, the deliverables, and things like that. The master planning work that we've done numerous citywide parks master plans, and these are some of the parks we've done, and it shows you the different types of services along the top, such as landscape architecture, and want to emphasize that most of the services on these parks have been done by Bermeo Ajamil in-house. The only thing up there that we don't do is cost estimating, and that's why we brought an outside firm. We feel it's better if we have a third party look at analyze the cost of the work we do. The first project I wanted to show you, and I'm going to go through these very quickly, a few projects. This is the citywide parks master plan for Hollandale Beach that we completed a couple years ago. Developed concept plans for all of the parks. City Commission on the day they approved it said to me, don't change one single plan. So these plans turned from concepts into reality, and we're very close to what the city saw as the parks master plan. This is Joseph Scavo Park. These are the finished pictures of the project. Very exciting park, very passive, with a playground. We also worked on the South City Beach Park, which is right on the beach. The development of that utilizing existing parking lot. An existing parking lot. And then this was all redeveloped on this side of the parking lot for the waterfront park. It's a very successful park for the community. It was very controversial developing it because we had very, very heavy active participation by the residents on what they wanted to see on the beachfront. B.F. James Park is the third of the 3 parks we developed for the city and had built. This was basically an underutilized park with an unused playground, and quite unbelievable. We introduced a recreational swim center because it replaced a swim facility that was removed years ago in another park, O.B. Johnson, and we came up with the idea, well, we don't have room there to put the swimming center back. We brought it over here a couple blocks to the east. And the community at first didn't like it. I think they love it now. It is really a very successful project, and very popular in the neighborhood. The second citywide parks master plan is one we're still working on, is the city of Pompano Beach. We're looking at all 41 of their parks and developing a master plan that looks at the future development of all those parks, and they go from very, very tiny to very large regional parks. So it's a widespread analysis of all their park system. What we've done, in addition, is we've come up with plans for various parks, and they look pretty finalized, but those are conceptual plans for different parks, ranging from athletic facilities, the top park here, redevelopment in an underdeveloped area. So the parks are being used for a variety of elements in the city, from recreation to redevelopment, and I think that's very important to understand. I think these create value, and the city has to realize the value created by a park system that works well with the city. Here are some additional parks that we've developed, a small one with tennis courts, another one that's integrated with a residential development, and mostly athletic fields. We get everything in between as well. The citywide parks plan for Miami Beach we also completed. that had a major impact on the city as far as public open spaces, because the city of Miami Beach has really owned its public open spaces. It's developed some really spectacular parks from this master plan. We looked at the whole beachfront boardwalk system, how to improve that, and much of that's being redeveloped now from the elevated boardwalk to the grade boardwalk along the beach. And it had a major impact in Miami Beach. Two other projects I want to look at, $27 million project, 20 acres. We did the full master plan, and then they developed all these different components from a amphitheater, community center, public open space, interactive water feature, open lawn, and a marina. And this is all part of this master plan, very close to Duval Street, downtown Key West, if you know the city at all. These are some images that we created at the community center, a new amphitheater facility, restrooms. We did the entire park, all the architecture, civil engineering, and landscape architecture. This is right beside the Truman Annex in Key West. This is Deerfield Beach, the last park I want to show you. This is just completed. I wanted to show it because it really has been a major evolution of a waterfront. This was an underutilized site. The city purchased an old restaurant site here. It sat vacant for many years. My first site visit, I think I was approached by more vagrants than I was even people using the park. And that is the waterfront in downtown, and what they call downtown Deerfield Beach. These are some of the images of the park. Very small park, but it was a really successful project. And finally, why B&A? I think it's important we tell you that I think that we offer really a great opportunity working with the city. We have really a great experience with citywide park master plans. We've been very lucky to get some great clients who've done some great master planning. Park design, we also, I think, design some very innovative design solutions that are affordable, because we're very sensitive to costs and also the city objectives and what the community needs. I think that we have worked with communities throughout South Florida. There's not many communities between Palm Beach and Key West that we are not working now or have done recently some public open spaces. And we have accessible and responsive team members, and we listen to our clients.
That is right on time.
Oh,
right.
am I?
Yes, I love your presentation, and actually I was in Hallandale for breakfast the other day, so I got an opportunity to look at the park. I remember when it was on the other end, and after they took out the baseball diamonds and this swimming pool and everything, that this is definitely a step up. Have you, before I was interrupted with talking about Frost Park before being out there on the Saturday before Easter, I spoke to Raphael and Hakeem, because when we walked through it, and I noticed that, is it the skate?
Yeah, skateboard.
Skate.
So
did you have an opportunity to take a look at that? Because to me, it really doesn't fit in with anything that is underutilized. I want to say it's not a pretty site, and look at something that all children are going to be comfortable with and going to be using. What was your take on it when you?
Well, I mean, I think the park is pretty. The trees on the east side around the playground are really nice, beautiful trees. Mm-hmm. The parking lot, I mean, the parking on the street is very efficient. You have then the parking lot, which maybe could be rethought and moved to the other side and reuse that, the skateboard for that possibly, and then add additional recreational facilities on the west side of the building. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the city's program is, so it's hard for me to say, well, if you want to do tennis courts or basketball, I could respond. I don't, it's got the existing play fields now. And the building and the playground. The playground seems somewhat obscure. Often it's like hidden in the trees and not very obvious. So I think what you look at that is, how is the park used? What are the things that are successful there? What is attracting people to it? And maybe what is that neighborhood missing? They're probably not missing a skateboard with actually a shelter for dogs, but that's. You have to look at all the things and not just the skateboard park for the fact that it's a skateboard park. Mm-hmm. If it's heavily used and successful, maybe there's a way to manage it. Mm-hmm. But I haven't been there when we were there was nobody on skateboard.
There two people, and of course we had about 200 kids that were there for the Easter egg roll.
Oh,
and
right.
It just seems so out of place. Mm. The other thing I want to talk about is C.W. Thomas with the basketball court, and the surfacing there is really horrible, and we're talking about putting a cover over the top. So
A roof over the
yes,
festival.
yes.
Yeah, a lot of communities. We've just been awarded the new Optimus Park, or the redo of Optimus Park in Miami Lakes, and they're going to take one of the 4 basketball courts and put a roof over it too. And they also want to use that at the same time for a potential stage, so because that's now an area that's covered basketball court as an option.
Thank you.
I have 2 more copies. I didn't.
You can. I'll hold them in case someone wants to see them. No, it's okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief, can you step out the door and ask the other applicants to come in? Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want, it's an open meeting after the presentation. We're just gonna have dialogue here. I mean, is it okay if they stay?
Yes, they could.
Yeah, you
yes.
can stay afterwards. Oh, they're doing our beach. And go.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for letting us present our qualifications. I'm Mike Kroll. I'm President, CEO of Miller Lake, and pleased to be presenting our qualifications for your Parks and Rec Master Plan. The team that we put together for you on this project is made up of our employees. We've been based here for 53 years, done work at Dania Beach for over 40 years. So we've, again, as that time, we are an award-winning project firm. We've won project awards for planning or landscape architecture, as well as engineering and environmental services. And we've done over 250 park projects, as well as dozens of Parks and Rec master plans, some of which you'll see. The team that is put together for you on this project is here tonight. I'm going to be leading that team. I have a passion for Parks and Rec. I've done it through my entire career. And again, Parks and Rec master plans really are the roadmap in place for your residents. Assisting me and working with me will be Vanessa Ruiz. Vanessa has a great deal of experience. She's a landscape architect. We just finished the city of Oakland Park as well as the city of South Miami's Parks and Rec master plan together. Something else that is unique about Vanessa, she also brings experience in doing eminent domain work. So if there's properties that we want to acquire for parks and such, she can actually help us put that together. Sheila McCrae, not only is she a Dania Beach resident, but she also is instrumental in working with us to do public involvement as well as data analysis. As part of the Parks and Rec master plan process, we analyze a bunch of different data, get input from online surveys, do websites, etc. And Sheila is really instrumental in having us be successful in doing that. And then Teen Woon is with us. He is with Cartaya & Associates, a Broward-based architectural firm. We're experienced. We've done master planning, as I mentioned, for numerous projects. Westlake Park is a project that we've done master planning for. As I mentioned, South Miami, their Parks and Rec master plan. Again, why this is significant? It was their first Parks and Rec master plan. They had diverse demography, demographics for the city, and really we laid the ground plan and the roadmap for that city. Also, City of Oakland Park, Park and Rec master plan. Red Reef Park for the city of Boca Raton. Plantation Preserve master plan for the city of Plantation. Pelican Park and Sunny Isles Beach and their master plan for that project, as well as Boynton Beach Oceanfront Park, large oceanfront park. We also did the city of Miramar's park master plan and redevelopment plan for redeveloping a lot of their older parks on the east side of town. Make sure. Also, Cartaya has a great deal of experience and focus on recreational amenities. Some of these projects include Founders Park in Aventura, Everglades Holiday Park, Markham Park in Sunrise, TY Park in Hollywood, and are currently working at the Dania Beach. So we've got a great deal of experience, and also we are recognized with our expertise. It's recognized by our peers with the award-winning projects that we've done, but also by our clients. the most important award that we can get is a recommendation from our clients. Here's just a few examples of those recommendations from the city of South Miami, Pembroke Pines, even Dayton Beach for some transportation. The master planning process for a park really is the process that we used on all those previous projects that you saw there. It's a six-step process that we do, and I'm going to outline that rec master. What's your expectations? We're going to meet with you, the mayor, the commissioners, and find out what your expectations are. Your advisory boards, as well as the city departments and staff. We then begin our analysis. We look at the inventory and analysis of demographics from census, both current census as well as census projections. We also look at comparable communities. What do other communities that are similar to Dayton Beach offer from parks and recreation facilities as well as programs? Then we look at national and state standards. There are standards for the level of service that should be provided by a similar type municipality. What type of programs, what type of facilities that we would offer, those types of things. So that's something else that we'll analyze. We'll also analyze city-provided information. Your comp plan, the county comp plan, dictates what kind of parks and recreation facilities, the amount of park recreation. So that information is something else that we analyze. We also use surveys to gather information from the public, and I'll speak a little bit more about that, on their understanding, their awareness of your parks and recreation facilities as well as programs. We also will analyze each and every one of your park and recreation facilities for safety, security, accessibility, and long-term sustainability. Something else we look at because it's a fantastic resource that you have to maintain in the long term. And also programming. We have to understand what programming you offer, the diversity of programs that you offer, as well as how much participation do you get in the programming, and is it the right program? That's the type of thing that we'll look at. We really want to make sure that programming ensures education and reinforces education, wellness for the community. Other things we're going to look at, more technical type things, spatial analysis of where your park and recreation facilities are. Also, this technical aspect really looks at parcels. What parcels are available that maybe we could encourage and integrate into our parks and recreation program. Public involvement plays a key role in every master plan that we do. It's integral to the success. We've been doing this on our projects for almost 40 years, encouraging the public through interaction with them, bringing them into the actual solution and development of the master plan. We do public involvement different types of ways. We used to do it 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we got everybody together and had a meeting and a charrette, and that's all we did. Now we have questionnaires. We have social media. We have web pages. It's fantastic. You get input from people who are shy that wouldn't come to a workshop, et cetera, but it's a great way to embrace their awareness and get their input. So the next stage that we've done, we get input and report out on the input that we got from the public, from our surveys and such, as well as have interactive and activities and input from the community at that workshop. Then we develop a Parks and Rec draft master plan. That draft master plan takes the information that we gathered from the workshop, as well as from the analysis that we did. We come up with recommendations on what type of facilities, what type of programs that we would have. We not only talk about recommendations, but we talk about how it can be implemented and the budgeting necessary to actually carry out those phased improvements. We also talk about staffing, because at the end of the day, you have to have staff to maintain, and operate these programs and facilities. And these staffing types are very unique, from administration, management side to the operations side. And those folks that manage and operate active parks, community centers, all those types of different staff really are unique to the different types of facilities and programs that they're involved in. Following that draft master plan, we take that draft master plan, and before we have another workshop, we post it online so that we get input from the public online, and we also provide you with copies of that so that you can have it at the library, at your community center, so the public can review it and give their input. And then finally, we put together the final master plan with the associated recommendations, phasing, budgeting, as well as funding opportunities for those potential improvements. And then we present that final master plan to the commission in a normal setting. So really, you know, we are a local team. We've been based here in Broward. Again, all of our team members are here in Broward. We have over 40 years of experience with the city. We've done over 250. Our city will use to lay out parks and recreation programs and facilities in the future that address the future needs, but really foster community engagement and really engage the community for education and wellness. So
You guys were both perfect, right on time.
Right, great.
Commissioner Grace?
Yes, I enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you.
You and your team, have you had the opportunity to take a look at our parks? And I just want to share with you the same sentiments that I shared with the firm before. As you're working on the master plan, what did you see at Frost Park, especially with the skating that we have there, what we could do to make that better or do away with it or add to it? And then at C.W. Thomas Park, the basketball court and facility that we have there.
Sure. Again, skate parks and such, park perspective. There's numerous communities that we've worked with that don't have skate parks anymore. Again, it goes actually to the public. If there's a huge demand for that skate park, there are certain types of things that we can do to modify the design of that skate park, allow for controlled access to that skate park, etc. So those are types.
We'll talk a little bit more when we get to the budget part of the covering for the basketball court.
Sure, sure. And again, how you approach that in a
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. But from a master plan perspective, we can actually dictate the type of material that will be used by whoever designs the park, and not only that park, but all future parks, so that that issue doesn't occur. So again, the master plan, the intent of the master plan is again to meet the needs, but also long-term sustainability. And it's not just basketball courts; it's the actual buildings, it's the services within the buildings, it's accessibility to those facilities and such. So again, from a master plan perspective, how we would look at it is to understand what the concerns are. And again, as you go east to west in Dania Beach, you have different types of concerns. Saline or salt intrusion, as well as the impact from that salty environment on the eastern side of the city is much greater than on the western side. So those are types of things that we specify and come up with a kit of parts for the different.
Thank you. So you want to call the other ones back in? You wanna get your what do you have, a jump drive in there, or was it on the? Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, we need to choose somebody. We have to choose someone. It's on the agenda.
I'm going to say what I want to say.
Be nobody asked you not to be you.
Okay.
Do we have any discussion?
I was very impressed with both presentations. This is going to be a toughie, but we certainly going to have to make a decision here, and we'll work it out, see what happens.
Commissioner Brandon Marty.
Yes, the vision was what my vision is when it came to the basketball courts and the covering and being able to use it maybe for a concert. And that was my vision. I got to be honest with you. I like it when we get right down to the nitty gritty, and one of yous didn't get there as far as I'm concerned. You didn't get down to it. It was too much technical and looking into this and saltwater and all that. I want to know what your vision is for our children, for our parks. And I think that was presented by one of your groups. And the other one, I felt it did not present it with the vision that I'm looking for. I want to see life. I want to see a lot of life in these parks. That's the whole thing with us building up this city so much. Like I say, someone has my vision. I know that right now. And the other was too technical. I care about this whole.
Ask the city manager to do. And Parks and Recreation is something I've grown up in since I was a little girl. It was a safe haven for me. It kept me out of trouble. It taught me a lot. Sports taught me a lot about leadership, passion, you know, discipline, teamwork, all of those things. And so this commission is a visual commission. And so I think if I can try and speak for Commissioner Brandon-Marty, I think what she's trying to say is that one presentation gave us a visual conception more so of than the other. I was very impressed with both. You're both very qualified. You have a great resume. And in my experience, in my knowledge, what I'm going to lean towards is the Bermeo Ahamel. That is the first presentation that I saw. I loved seeing all the greenery and all of the fields and all of the facilities and the things that.
Thank you.
Exactly. So that's going to be my recommendation, that in my motion. If we have more discussion, that's fine. But A and B.
Do we have any other discussion?
No,
Commissioner Savino or Vice Mayor?
That would be my
No.
motion.
I'm good with
Okay.
it.
Do you have a second?
I second her motion. Are we on the same page with the same people?
Yes.
Okay, good.
What motion was it?
That's all I want to know.
That was
Because I
a
don't wanna get
motion?
screwed up.
Yes.
A motion for Bromella?
Yes.
Okay, and the
Yes.
commission is aware, I believe, that this is just to begin to negotiate with the
Right.
successful one for a price for the work and the type of work. Okay, so if there's a motion in a second, you would call the
Yes.
roll?
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Brandemart,
Yes.
Commissioner Grace,
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor James.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, so
Thank you.
I'm going to
Thank
read.
you all.
I am going to read the resolution title now that we know.
Sure.
Okay, so it'll be a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, pertaining to the Parks and Recreation Department 10-year master plan request for proposal, RF meant for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. Again, it's subject to negotiating an acceptable price for the city.
Are we there?
So we're finished with that, right? Okay. So we're gonna go to public hearings. Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Love songs, huh? Just saying.
I make a motion to approve, Mayor.
Okay.
No public.
We already did.
Oh, you have public hearing on?
We have public hearing.
Oh, you have somebody want to talk on?
Huh?
Nobody came up.
No, he has to read it.
Oh, I thought he read it.
Okay.
Sorry.
He read the other one.
You ready? And
Yes.
9.1 is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 2 entitled Administration, Article 6 entitled Marine Advisory Board of the City Code of Ordinances, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, further providing for an effective date. Second reading of this ordinance. This is as the Commission directs.
For or against this?
Move it.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Brandemart,
Yes.
Commissioner Grace,
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris.
Yes.
Mayor James.
Yes.
Thank you.
9.2, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, to amend Chapter 28 of the Land Development Code of the City Code of Ordinances by amending Article 110, Use Regulations for Commercial and Mixed-Use Districts to address requirements to allow outdoor seating, amending Article 115, Schedule of Permitted Uses to address uses concerning automobiles and storage facilities in certain zones, amending Article 302, Detailed Use Regulations to address special exception uses and permitted uses for civic and institutional uses, general commercial uses, restricted commercial uses, and industrial uses. Amending Article 303, District Development Standards, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. Second reading of this ordinance.
Good evening.
When we went through it the first time, it seemed like the only point that was really a concern was some of the proposed new uses that we were proposing for the neighborhood mixed-use zoning district. So we went back through it, and I prepared a table. I apologize for it being small. It is also in your staff report. And I identified each of the uses, and all of these uses that are being proposed as special exception uses. Some of them also have a condition of approval, such as separation requirements. And then what I also heard specifically is this particular use with regards to the vehicle activities was objectionable, so that has been withdrawn from the proposal. So that's no longer in the ordinance. And I believe that addresses your concerns from last meeting. I can make the presentation again if you like, but this is second reading.
No.
Could you go to the list?
Read the uses on the left-hand side. It's academic schools, charitable clubs, colleges or specialty schools, marine schools, place of worship, recreation center or athletic facility, exhibit event space, farmers market, automobile, marine sales showroom, indoor sales, storage, display of building materials or outdoor garden supply, and warehouse.
Okay, problem.
What's that?
After farmers market, that was the issue, and it's still there. It's
The automobile sales?
automobile and marina sales showroom, the indoor sales storage display of building materials and outdoor garden supplies and warehouses.
So those two uses.
Those are three, right? The last three I have an issue
Oh,
with.
the
Those
last
are
is
part of-
warehouse. Okay.
Those are parts of
So
the,
you're wanting to strike those three?
it's just my
Okay.
opinion. I don't know how my colleagues feel, but that's in a residential.
Condition of your approval to strike it so that it's on record, and we'll remove it from the ordinance.
And what does exhibit event space entail?
Event space, usually it's like a meeting space. We had at one point, it was called white space, and it was like
Okay,
an
I like
event
that.
venue kind of place.
But is that usually in a warehouse? Because it was in a warehouse. Okay, hold on. Commissioner Salvino?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'm a little confused. I don't have a problem there. Is that what you're asking to take out, Mayor?
Is this to change the zoning to existing or to new ones? I mean, obviously,
so-
they won't tear the warehouses down.
Right. So it's the same for any use. If a use is licensed
grandfathered in.
with the city, then it can continue
Right.
as long as the license is maintained.
Yeah.
But if there's
This
an
would prevent future.
But if there's empty lots over in that mixed-use area that already have warehouses, whether they're warehouses with storefronts on them or not, you're asking not to be able to build those again. Is that what you're saying?
I'm asking not to be able to build those things in the residential areas.
Yes.
Yes,
Well, it's
correct.
not a residential area right now. It's a mixed-use area with
Well, when you
warehouses.
look
Well,
to the
you have
left and you look to the right and you
there.
look in front, it's residential. In my opinion, that area, I know this one that is across the street from Ward's Restaurant,
Yes.
it's residential to the left and residential to the right and residential in front of it as well. So I'm building these types of uses, and we have a turnover in our city of residents and stuff. And I mean, we have a lot of warehouses that are unoccupied. We can occupy those. I mean, it's just my opinion. Vice Mayor?
Corinne, are you familiar with the trend in urban environment?
Any other discussion?
Public hearing?
This is a public hearing.
The exception of the last three that you take them out, Corinne, and I think we'll have a comfort zone. I too understand the plight of having warehouses in a mixed unit where there's residents, and believe me, right across is all residential, and I don't want to see it. We're trying to build a city of upgrading, not downgrading. It's just like putting more apartments in storage facilities. Yeah, I can't see it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Brandemart,
With the amendment, yes.
Commissioner Grace,
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor James.
Yes.
Thank you.
9.3 is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the variance property generally located at the northwest corner of Sheridan Street and Southeast 5th Avenue in the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A, a copy of which is attached to this resolution. Providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. This has been requested to be continued to the April 24 Commission meeting, but anybody who is here can address the Commission under the public hearing if they choose.
This is
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the Oaks Place plat, PL 1318, submitted by Baseline Engineering, Southwest 40th Avenue in the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A, a copy of which is attached to this resolution, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. And the second resolution is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the site plan SP 15-18, submitted by BC Dania Oaks LLC, for the property located at 5461 to 5525 Southwest 40th Avenue in the City of Dania Beach, as legally described in Exhibit A, of copy which is attached to this resolution, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. These are both were sought to be continued to the May 8th commission meeting.
May 8th?
Correct. This is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this?
Motion to continue to the May 8th meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed. Discussion and possible action, we have none, so we'll go to commission comments. We're continuing, we're not making action. Okay. Commissioner comments, Commissioner Brandon Marty?
Yeah. I just want to say I hope that I spoke right with the two people. It's hard when somebody's sitting right in front of you and you're saying, gee, she's great, and you missed the mark. But that's a predicament that we're in, and I had to do it. My vision was right, obviously, because you all agreed with me. And I forgot if there was anything else I had to talk about. Thank you.
Sorry, Commissioner Grace?
As we commemorate the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I have some reflections that I would like to share with the citizens of Dania Beach. My dream is a little bit different from Dr. King because we supposedly would like to see little girls hold hand in hand. I would like for us to try to make sure that we give every person possible a hand up, especially when you know that they need assistance no matter what. I also am not too concerned about sitting at the counter or restaurants. I want us to be entrepreneurs, to own restaurants along this continent and make sure that we employ people of diverse ethnic groups so that we can work together. And I also want us to respect the rights of anyone that worships different than we do, because I believe that we all have a right to worship in the way that we were brought up to. And I remember working for Southern Bell in 1968 when Dr. King was assassinated, Grace, but I believe the dream that I had was to better not only the city of Dania Beach, but everyone that I come in contact with. And I think if we keep that observation together, especially when we're dreaming at night, that everybody should have a positive dream that they will be able to share with someone. That is my dream, not only for the January celebration, but throughout each and every day that we live, that we should remember that we're all created equal in the sight of whoever created us. Thank you.
Commissioner Salvino?
I'm good, thank you, Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
I wanted to mention one thing that was voted on unanimously by the commission was the extension of the contract for that, and as to my knowledge, that was not done. Is there a reason why it was not done?
No, what we've done is I had to bring it back to you this evening.
Okay.
I was going to bring it up in my comments, but this is an opportune time to do it. The CPA has asked for an additional $6,000 per year for the 2 years you requested, that was not discussed last time. The last, if you renewed the last renewal, the current price for that, which was just concluded, the audit, was $42,250. He's now asked for $6,000 per audit for each of those, which is a total of $12,000 more than what is currently in the current renewal. So I have a renewal drawn up. It's ready to go,
okay,
and it could be signed tomorrow. But I just need to have the commission to vote one way or another to increase the money as he's requested, if you wish to do that.
Do you want to ask comment? Mr. Harvey, would you like to address the commission?
Good day, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner.
Good evening.
Good
Hope
evening.
everybody's day is off to a start afternoon. We do not consider it an increase. Our original RFP prices started at $45 a year, an increase with the last year being at $49. We were asked to restructure our pricing so that some of the single audit programs and the SRF were at a higher price, and then we lowered the base price. Over the years, the pricing has been about the same because we have not performed any of the single audit, and it's just how the city made its money over the last years. We have not had those additional fees for the SRF audit and for the single. So when I look at our original proposed price of 49, based on our price that we put in.
And the documents I have show that the first year in 2013, $45,000 was paid. 2014, $46,000. 2015, $47,000. Then in 2016, $41,250 was paid, and just concluding in March 28th of this year, $42,250 was paid.
So he's on target.
To extend the renewal means it's either $42,250 or you are increasing $6,000 per audit per year for a total of 12, if that's what you wish to do.
I have questions, but I'll wait. Commissioner Brandon-Marty?
Are we back on this again? Because I'm telling you, until I get an answer as to whether it's legal or not legal to extend your contract, I don't want to vote on nothing. Why would I vote on an increase in your salaries, anybody's, no matter, it isn't just this gentleman here, when we don't even know we're doing the right thing legally? No. I'm not going to vote on something that's illegal, and I would also like to tell the city manager, don't you dare sign anything that's illegal. You'll be leaving us and going on to greener pastures. I'd advise you to allow the mayor to sign it. That's all right with me. Because I don't want to do something that's wrong. And this is a questionable contract. Do you agree on that?
Respectfully.
All right, but now you have other opinions that don't agree with you. Because I received, and I've never ever received a phone call from lawyers before, but I have after the last commission meeting, and they're saying that the AG is going to come back with saying the man had 2 extensions. That's the extent that he can go on this contract, the 2 one-year extensions. And this is what I'm understanding for more outside attorneys. And that's even without because when I leaned over and I asked our city attorney, is it all right to vote yes? And he says yes. I really should have voted no. Because if there still was a question, sir, in their minds that they sent it out for the Attorney General's rendition of what this contract is, I would have voted no. And I think it should still be brought up to another vote. I still feel that way. So that's what I have to say on that.
Commissioner Grace?
Well, I think that we're probably going to have to vote because we're going to vote whether or not we're going to extend the $12,000 that he's asking for or keeping it at the 42 that he's already getting paid. I can remember prior to you, we had 2 other auditors before you. Sean Davis, PA, was one of them, and he was with us for 7 years, for additional time after I was gone. And I have to tell you sincerely, I'm impressed by how you work with the finance department to be very astute as to getting us to this point, not sugarcoating anything, giving us our findings, whether they were pro or whether they were con. I am very comfortable. I think that I cannot speak for the Attorney General, but I can speak for me being a commissioner on this dais, that we have to make decisions that sometimes are very controversial. And so that is the role. I too understand the plight of my fellow commissioner that I've never been to jail, and I don't want to go, but I believe in doing what I think is right. I don't think that this is, I give you the $12,000 that actually when you really come down to it, it's really only $5,000. If the original thing was 49, and so the city attorney is telling me it's 12, so if you subtract 12 from 9, you get the gesture of where I'm coming from. So I think that, I don't think we're out of line. And then if we have to go back after the ruling and amend this, we still have an opportunity to come back if need be, and I don't think we're going to have to, sincerely, to do an RFP, and I don't think that's going to be it. But that is my motion.
Okay, we still have discussion, and then we'll get to your motion. Commissioner Salvino?
Well, if I don't get a second for my motion, because last time we did this, it died, and I came back and made an amended motion.
Last time you had made a motion to table the matter
Yes,
until
I
it
did,
had been
and then
decided.
I didn't get a second.
And you didn't get a second.
Okay, so I don't want that to happen with this.
We have a motion. Do we have a second before we finish the discussion?
I'll second it.
Okay. Commissioner Salvino?
Yes. All this is making me a little uncomfortable. Tom, I'm going to ask you, as legal advice to the city, just tell us, is this yes or no the right way to do this? Well, that's what we pay you for.
Yeah,
you
of course.
Advice,
my advice to you then, as it is now, is to wait on this until I get an Attorney General opinion, and that's the safest way to do it.
You're talking
But
about wait on
renewing this contract.
How about what we voted on before? Are we in trouble?
Because I said I would do, and what I have done, I've drawn up my opinion, which I'm confident she will. Then it'll automatically terminate this contract. And as Ms. Grace points out, it would go back to the audit committee, and he would have the opportunity to be part of that process.
Yep.
So that he'd have the opportunity to come back. But it's still my advice to you to wait until that's done. But again, I've designed it, Commissioner, so no one will get in trouble for doing this as long as I can have you get out of it. And you will be able to get out of it.
Thank you.
I need to ask some questions because I haven't been here that long. Why did we go down in payment from 40?
I don't know the answer to
No,
that.
okay. You know the answer?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor James. Just a quick walk down memory lane. So we had a couple events. In the year that before we restructured, the city actually paid us an additional $5,000, all right, because we had to do additional work because.
Wait, what? Repeat that?
I will. There was additional work that had to be performed by us because of the hire that was made by the city from HCT. So because of that, more money was paid. The next year, if my mind is right, the next year we were asked to restructure. So the baseline didn't change. The overall, if you look at the three elements, there are three elements to our contract. The base audit, the single audit, which is a cost per, and then the SRF, which is a cost per. You only get the last two if the city makes or expends a certain amount of dollars a certain way. So let me give you numbers. Our original proposal was $2,000 per single audit program and SRF program. Okay? Our original baseline was the numbers went down, but the per cost went up from $2,000 per to $3,500 per. So it actually was for us on both of those elements. So the single audit went from $2,000 to $3,500, and the SRF went from $2,000 to $3,500. Give you a little more history. Historically, besides the last 2 years, we've performed approximately 2 single audit major program tests. So that would mean that the fee would have gone from $2,000 each, or 4, to $3,500 each, or 7.
Okay, I just need to put this in layman's terms because I don't understand all this. And Nikki not. Where's Nikki?
Taking care of her mother tonight. She's not here. Mother's in the hospital.
So in simple terms,
let me ask you. I'm sorry because you're just gonna make my head confused. I done wrote down 3 numbers and I'm just gonna work it with the 3 I have.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct. That's why the additional work was required per AICPA.
So we paid y'all because we took one of your employees.
You didn't pay for the hire. You paid for the addition. You, the city, not you, Mayor James.
Well, I wasn't here, so I'm trying to figure this out.
The city paid for the additional work that was required because of the hire and the timing thereof.
Who did we hire from them?
Adam. I know who.
Yeah, we had hired one of their employees, and I guess there was some additional audit work that had to be done
Yeah.
because
So
of
we
that.
stole somebody from, okay.
Well, we don't think of it that way. We were
I
happy to
I'll
help
call
the
a spade a
city.
spade.
I understand your logistics. I understand what you're saying.
I'm just saying. I mean, when I look at it from just reading here, we took somebody from your company, so you had to do additional work, which the city in turn paid for.
That's
But do
correct.
they pay? Okay, never mind. We have a motion in a second.
Commissioner Grace,
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino,
Not until we get it resolved, no.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor James.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-2.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're on your
Okay.
comments. Sorry.
No, we've got to do the right
You can
thing.
have the money as soon as, I'm okay with it as soon as they get a clearance.
Okay. Those of you that have been down Bryan Road, you know that the four-way stop or the three-way stop sign is in place for the duration of the construction. So that's a good thing. It only took about a year to get them up. So
When did they put it up? Cause I ride down there all the time.
They're
Is that now?
April 6th. Yeah.
Okay, like
They're
4 days
there.
ago. Okay.
And, there's flagmen and additional support there on work days, but on the weekends, the three-way stop signs are in place.
Okay.
As the chief mentioned earlier, I'm having a get to know BSO driveway initiative at my house on Thursday, May 17th. That's to go out, and you all get flyers in your mailbox. And the other thing is on Southeast 3rd Terrace. Getting complaints about speeding, and that's the street that runs up right in front of Dania Elementary School. So, would it be in the budget for next year to do additional traffic calming, or maybe a roundabout on that street to slow the traffic down and to
We
be
can
safer
put
for
it.
the
We
kids?
can put it on the list for
There's
discussion.
one there. But
If you put another one there, that's like the one that's on the east side. It'll tear your whole car up if you go down there fast. I can guarantee you that.
okay, so
They have.
traffic calming of some kind, maybe we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Chief, speeding on Southeast 3rd. Okay, that's all.
Oh, it's my turn. I had comments. I'm total. I don't like what just happened. I'm just going to be very honest with you. I don't like finding out information and feeling like I didn't know it, and having to make auditor in the city. But hearing that, it just doesn't sound. Everything we're not being transparent, and I do not appreciate that. And I don't like that. I want to thank Commissioner Grace for taking, and the chaperones, because I wasn't one of them, taking 50-plus kids to ice skating. And I don't know if she ice skated or not, but I know I did not get on that bus. I dropped mine off, and I came back and picked them up. I can't. Yes.
I just want to acknowledge the Lions Club of Hollywood and Dania Beach, and what was so enlightening is because we took autistic children and we took children from all of our parks there. Some of these children had never had an opportunity to ice skate ever, and of course to see them get up, fall down, get up, fall down, and were actually
I
able
would've been on the
to
sled.
have the children sit in the sleds, and they pushed them around, and it was just, I mean, their faces was absolutely brilliant. And
Did you ice skate?
I cannot.
Did you get on the sled?
I cannot tell a lie. I got in the sleigh. Yes.
Okay.
But I did not ice skate because I saw them falling down, and I figured, well, if they're falling, I know that I'm going to fall. And I want to thank Big Papa for supplying the lunch for us, macaroni and cheese, barbecue chicken, baked beans, coleslaw,
You didn't give me a plate?
potato salad, bread, cake.
Nothing healthy.
Hot chocolate, soda and water. It was fantastic, and salad. The kids were, I mean, it was really nice. It was nice. So
Okay.
I really want to thank. I want to thank Parks and Recreation, especially Hakeem. I mean, it was just an awesome experience. Thank you so much.
Okay. My other comments are we are growing. We are a growing city, and I want to make sure that we are thinking forward and looking at what is to come with all the developments that's coming and all the families that will be coming. I was asked to figure out the capacity of our schools, and one of them is over capacity. and that will be Collins Elementary. They have 8 overcapacity currently, and they cannot turn any kids away. I mean, it's a great problem to have that we have a lot of kids in our schools. However, having these extra bodies per classroom, I don't think that you do the due diligence to each child when providing them with a quality education, even though they are in a school. Our other 2 schools are kind of on the borderline. I can foresee in 2 years they will be exactly where Collins is. So I have no luck with this. I have to think of some alternatives or some options, or even if we are going to go down to the school board ourselves, I do not mind, or getting the city manager to try to get into contact and write these letters, because we have to act now, because before you know it, 2 years will be here and our kids won't really have any place to go. So, excuse me.
Portables next to them for temporary.
Yeah, I guess, but we have to wait on the school board for that too. They told me that the superintendent advised me that they weren't doing anything extra until they spent the bond money, which was approved 4 years ago, and they haven't done it.
2014, and we're still waiting for them to do something.
They haven't spent a dime in our city yet, so I don't have any faith that the school board is going to help our schools on the east side of Broward County, because we are not on the west side of Broward County. And so those are just my opinions, and I really think we ought to really be open-minded in addressing these issues. They are very good. We're going to have a lot more residents here, and people want to, have their children nearest to them, regardless if it's where they work or where they live. And I think that's something that we ought to really take a look into and start figuring out different ways to make that happen. Other than that, those are my comments for the night. And then we have appointments. The Dania Beach Housing Authority, unfortunately, we lost Marita Mitchell, who passed away. And so we have to fill her term or fill her position. I have someone in mind, but I'll wait for Commissioner Salvino's comments.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Her daughter expressed interest, Celeste Oatman, to fill her mother's position.
Doesn't live in Dania Beach.
Okay, I didn't know that.
May 19th through May 2019, and if she accepts or if we vote on it, then we would be able, the acting mayor at that time will be able to either extend or do whatever they want with the position. But she didn't fit the criteria because she wasn't on the housing board for that specific position.
No.
No, so the first position that came up, that one individual that's on that, they had to be on housing. So she didn't fit the criteria. So now all the rest of them, they don't have to be on housing. They just have to be a resident in Dania Beach. They can't work for the city. Do you have an issue with serving? Okay.
So again, this is the mayor's appointment subject to ratification by the commission under the state law.
So do I make a motion?
You make the motion to?
I make a motion to appoint Ivy Cure. Second, call the roll, please.
Thank you.
The Marina Advisory Board, didn't we just do that one?
I don't think.
It says
There's no
Marina
appointment.
Advisory Board.
Oh, Tom, you were going to point out there's pending.
In your backup is the attendance for the last year, for all of 2017 actually, and the first 3 months of this year. Vice Mayor Harris has 2 vacancies, and Mayor, you have 1 vacancy, so that's 3 members there reduction if you don't fill those. What you could do is take over another an appointment from one of the other commissioners.
Somebody can have one of mine if they want.
But you need to decide which one is going where. Additionally, if you do that, you'll still have 2 that need to be removed to get to your total 5 reduction.
Okay, so when we just made this ordinance to reduce it.
It was the second reading. It's now effective when you passed it. Now you have to reduce this evening or the next meeting to take off 2 more people. You can leave.
So we have to take off 2 more people because we currently he has 2 and I have 1.
Right, and so you would not fill those vacancies. That's 3 you needed to take off. Nobody gets affected, but 2 people will have to be removed. Probably the 2 that have attended the least. If you want to wait till the next commission meeting.
Okay, so
You
who
might
y'all
wanna
want to
do
take
that.
off? Y'all want to wait?
Wait.
Okay, so we'll continue it to the 24th. Is it 24th? Commissioner Salvino, your light is on.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you. You know, we got the report on who's been showing up and who's not. It's going to be very difficult to move somebody off there because there's not anybody consistent. You're going to you said we have reduced 2, right?
2.
You know, we probably, if that's the
We
case,
can't use them as an alternate?
No, we don't have
it'll take 2 meetings to do it, but it certainly could be done easily enough.
The,
I don't wanna be the guy
the
that
initial
tells somebody
reason
they
why
can't
you wanted the reduction is that you were having problems finding appointees to fill the vacancy.
Right,
if you
but
recall.
But the 12
yes,
that are
but
showing up
that
are-
he's saying what Commissioner Salvino is saying. The 2 that we will be in essence getting rid of, we can just make them the alternates and then get rid of the 3 that we are having a problem filling the seats. Correct?
Right, yeah, because
Okay.
there's nobody consistently on the excused or unexcused that's missing all the time. I mean, it's not, if you had 1 person on there, it'd be very easy, or 2 people, but there's, everybody's, the ones that are on there, the 12 that are on there are consistently showing up. So who's going to be the bad guy and tell 2 of them they have to leave?
You.
Not me. My guys show up most of the time.
Let them be alternates. Can you make them alternates?
Is that possible?
Marine Advisory.
Marine.
Again, I can easily draw up an ordinance.
That's up to you. I can probably ask one of my 3 to be an alternate.
Okay, so you want me to draw up an ordinance that
Well, that's up to the
creates
mayor.
alternates? I can do that.
Sure.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think everybody should ask any of their members if they would like to be an alternate and see what happens.
I'll definitely ask.
Or if anybody wants to drop off, can we table it maybe for a meeting and ask our
Probably a good idea if we won't need it.
ask our members if anybody wants to drop off?
If you lose 2, it's moot. Correct.
Okay, so we'll table this to the 24th.
Thank you, Mayor.
Administrative reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll put the written status report in your all's boxes so you can read rather than go over that. And the Commissioner Grace, you brought up a good point. We talked about in our task force before. And by the way, thank you for thank the Commission for agreeing to purchase that quadplex. Something we've been trying to do to solve our crime problems. So I think that, as the city attorney said, we can look at that again and in terms of our task force and see if there's something we can do about that.
May I say something?
Sure.
Okay, as I'm happy that we approved it. So that means that we will have all 3 of those lots together.
With grass.
Am I correct?
We own 1 lot. We purchased the Smith, which was really 2 lots, and then you agreed to purchase the quadplex, and then there's 1 vacant lot there that the owner has not agreed to sell.
Okay.
I believe it was appraised at about $15,000. It's a vacant lot, and Gene Cook Realty is working on that, trying to help us acquire that lot.
I would like to see, and I don't know whether Mark is favorable of doing this, but once we acquire those lots, that we can kind of match. That's my other dream.
In the Oasis project?
Oh, there's more. There's plenty of room there to build more than 1 home. It would have to be, I guess, platted properly and all that, right? Or
Okay.
all right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Nothing to add.
City Clerk, Deputy.
Your upcoming meeting reminders: Tuesday, April 24th at 7 p.m. is your City Commission meeting. Tuesday, May 8th at 5:30 is CRA Board meeting, followed by the City Commission meeting at 7 p.m. I think that's all.
Thank you.
Oh, with CRA is going to be 6 o'clock instead of 5:30.
Yeah, we changed it.
No, not that one. No.
Yeah, but no, I thought we changed all of them to 6.
July and August.
Oh, just July and August. Okay. I'll be here.
That's right.
I thought we changed them both.
They wanted to ask if because we are not having heavy agendas in the CR agenda. You can come on up.
Williams, CRA Executive Director. I think that perhaps we should keep it at 5:30, and if I see that we're going to have a short agenda, make a special request to move it to 6 o'clock.
I don't have an issue.
But is that
The other way around.
is that going to be a time frame that, because if I get dressed to come in at 5:30 and you call and I'm already dressed, I'm going to be here. But if it's 6 o'clock, then that gives me a little leeway.
With a week
We should know 2 weeks prior.
2 weeks? That's good. Okay, great.
That's good.
All right. Thank you. That's it. Meeting adjourned.